Stop working too hard on your copy. The reason your copy doesn't look that good or feels like something's missing is because you're working too hard. Stop it. I'm Danita, your copywriting coach and mentor. And today we are at day 3. This is a 5 days, 5 lesson video series where by the end of lesson 5, I hope I'll make you a better copywriter. Today's topic is hibernate. So before I dive into today's topic, I want to ask you this. What does your writing process look like? If you're like most copywriters, your writing process would look something like this. You get a cool idea. You first get a brief, right? You get a brief. Your client tells you that I want this thing done. I'm looking for an ad. And let's take this for example, okay? I want to advertise my glasses. This is your brief. And these glasses are not numbered, and they are blue light blocker glasses and all of that. So you get that brief. Now, what happens next? This is what your writing process looks like. In fact, this is what the writing process for most copywriters what looks like, right? They got a cool new idea. After the product brief, what happens next is you think, okay, now I have to write a digital ad for this company. They want to advertise their glasses, right? So you go looking for some inspiration. You learn more about the product, the features and all. And then while you're working at it, gathering all information, doing your research, you get a cool idea and you think, this is an interesting angle. Let me work on it. And when you're working on your new cool idea, what happens is once you're done working with your idea, is then your first draft is ready, right? So that idea is converted into copy, your first draft. Now, once your first draft is done, what happens is you think, okay, now let me just, read it and edit it, and let me do that. So you proofread it and it goes through one round of editing, right? After editing, what you do, you see that, okay, I'm satisfied with this copy. This looks good. The idea is good. The copy is good. There are no errors, no nothing. Everything looks fine, right? Once you're happy with the edits, you move on to the last process. That is, you send it to the client. Then the client takes over from there. Or if you're working in an agency, after the edit process, this will go to the designs team. The designs team will take it over from there, and you all will collaborate maybe once or twice for ideation, and that's about it, right? Now, if you want to become a better copywriter, if you want to get better at copywriting, don't follow this process. That's right. I said it, right? If you want to get better at copywriting, don't follow this process. What you could do instead, let me tell you. So, great copy doesn't come after a great idea, all right? Although a great idea is a starting point for a great copy, but it doesn't come after a great idea. So, your typical writing process will look like this. You get a great idea. You go on to write the first draft. Then after the first draft, you edit it. Now, After editing it, this is your first round of edit, right? You re-edit it, your second round. After the second round, something different. This means you leave the copy, you leave that project, what you're working on, the ad copy, Facebook digital ad copy, leave it. Do something different, do something not related to your work, maybe paint. If you're like me, you'll paint or do something, but don't look at that copy. All right. So do something different and forget that words, the copy, everything completely. So take about 2 days. By the second day, you must have forgotten about it completely and you're happily going about in your life, not remembering what you've written or what you thought or what your ideas were, right? Now, after 2 days, you come back to that copy. Now, sit and read it. While you are reading it, don't edit right away. While you are reading it, read it, take maybe a separate sheet and make notes of the points that you don't like. Read it for the second time. Make a list of more points that you don't like. Now, take a fresh paper or Google Doc, right? And type in from scratch. Now, once you typed in from scratch, right, you'll have a second draft, right? Because the first draft was done before. Now, edit it. Once you edit it, now send it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Danita, I have already written the copy once. And here you are telling me that write the copy, edit it once more, take a 2 days holiday, and then come back again, start from scratch, re-edit it, and then start from scratch. And then after doing this, send it to the client. Why you making me work so hard, right? You might be asking me this. And you might be even thinking that my older process is much easier. At least I'll get stuff done better and faster, right? Wrong. So after you take a break and forget the copy, what happens in the 2 days is your emotional attachment to the idea is gone, right? You initially started with one idea and you took it from there, right? And then you began your work from there. Now, after you took those 2 days break, you forgot that idea. What happens is your emotional attachment to the idea is gone. You're looking at things through a different perspective and you're thinking things from a different perspective. This perspective is what helps you write better because after the second day, you came back again and started making a note of things you didn't like in your original idea. This is when you find gaps in your thinking, gaps somewhere, some ideation, concept, something somewhere, right? When you found those gaps and you from that point you began writing the second draft, the second draft will always come up much more refined and much more crisp and better, compelling than the first draft. That's why you write a copy, edit it, and go to sleep. Right? You hibernate for 2 days. Let your copy rest for 2 days. Right? Imagine your copy like a fresh like a fresh dough, right? Once you're you're making bread, you have to allow that dough to rest, right? If you just take that dough and right away bake it, you won't have the softest breads, right? So if you want good bread, you have to allow the dough to rest. If you want great copy, you have to allow your mind to rest. And that's why you need to hibernate. When you come back relaxed, what happens is you start looking at things from a different lens. And this helps you write better. Now, let me share my example. So what happened is my client needed, they were a toy brand, right? Toy and accessories for girls. And she needed help with her uh, tone of voice guidelines, right? I had done work with them for past for their website copy. And now they were expanding and she needed a tone of voice guideline. And when I was writing it, I initially wrote the first draft, right? I did my research and all. And after spending 2 days with the draft, what I realized is I'm stuck. It's not, I'm not able to get that tone. And the tone I was getting was good, but was not good enough for me. And I was not satisfied with my work. So I didn't have a 2 day period to rest and allow the copy to rest, right? So I had to give it in the next 2 days. And so what I did was I took my son out and I was tired, right? So I took him out and I took him to the garden. And there I forgot about my work. And when he was sitting on those wheels, I don't know, merry-go-round with horses, that one, right? And there are other kids who are sitting as well. And when I looked at the children, I was just observing. I was not doing anything, right? I was just looking at my son, waving bye-bye, and observing the kids. When I looked at a girl, a tiny little baby, and when I looked at the innocence and the sparkle in her eyes and the gentle smile on her face, and when I waved her bye-bye and I saw her eyes light up, that's when I found my inspiration. And I rushed my son. I told, okay, your round is over. Come, let's go. Let's go home. And that tone, that inspiration, right? So her eyes lighting up and her smile becoming brighter and that sparkle in her eyes, the innocence of her face, that was the inspiration I was missing. I came back, I opened my doc and I started writing. I instantly knew what I was missing and I instantly knew how to bring that character and that personality into my work. Needless to say, the client was super happy with the tone. She was expecting the usual and all. But when you're working with me, you're not getting usual. You're getting a part of me, right? So with that, we come to an end of today's lesson. I want you to spend more time with your copy. Whatever you do, copywriting is a craft. And the only way you'll get better at it is when you learn to spend more time with it. So, my dear copywriter, from today, spend a little extra time with your copy. Give it a little more love and don't work too hard. Hibernate a little more. And if you're like me and you're on tight deadlines and you can't afford a 2 day worth hibernation, no problem. Take a 20 minutes break, go out, do something. Get out of your current work environment, freshen with a fresh perspective, then get back to work. We creatives need rest because when we are resting is actually when we are thinking. So resting is not resting. While it might look like we rest, but when we rest, we work and we work harder when we rest. So until next time, keep writing, and come soon for day 4. Because in day 4, we are going to learn how to talk like a caveman. So, until tomorrow, keep writing. Bye-bye.